Hi, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Health Talk Tuesday. I normally don't do two of these in a row, but I learned a lot of very fun stuff about beta glucans, and I could not wait to share it with you. And that's why we're going to do two, you count them, two Health Talk Tuesdays. We just got done talking about black seed oil and all of its powerful, powerful benefits in the body. And now I want to talk to you about something called beta glucans. And part of the reason why I want to talk about beta glucans is because so often what they do and how they work and where you should be getting them from, people don't know the answers to those questions. They'll hear that aloe is a great beta glucan, but then they hear that mushrooms are a great source of beta glucans. Well, what about yeast beta glucans? Well, what I want you to know about all of these things is that they are all functional, and much like antioxidants, they work in different compartments of the body and they do different things. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, the power behind beta glucans and why you need these in your life. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Dr. Deidre Mason. I am the Director of nutraMetrix and Clinical Education. I am a graduate of National University of Natural Medicine. That makes me a naturopathic physician. As a primary care physician, I both help patients with Western philosophies as well as complementary and traditional solutions in healing. I talk to individuals about botanicals, about sleep, about how to support their quality of life. And we first do that without reaching for drugs. As my predecessors said, help people find health, because quite frankly, anybody can find disease. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Of course, it's important that you understand that any of the presentations are not approved, and my statements are not approved by the Food and Drug Administration. We don't talk about treating, curing, or mitigating a disease with any particular product, but simply talk about wellness. We talk about well-being, and we talk about the steps that each and every one of us can take to support our health. Today, we're going to talk about beta glucans, their sources, and how they can help you support a healthy immune system. What I want you to know about them is they do come from different sources, right? So when we think about what do I need to do to create a healthy environment that allows me to be and reach my best potential, have all of the energy I'm looking for, right? Be able to say, no, I don't have aches and pains, and I don't really need to see the doctor. I feel great. I don't look my age, whatever it is, whatever your definition of health is, right? I want you to think about how you're going to achieve it through a better diet, a better night's sleep, manage stress. All of these things you should do because they are going to help you improve your metabolism, improve your longevity, and even support a healthy brain. And yes, make sure that you have a healthy immune system. It means that you pay attention to the building blocks of metabolism. And we do that by choosing our diets based on color, by making sure that we get a healthy night's sleep. And then we do those things to manage our stress and our emotions. But one part of our day, our lifestyle, does the heavy lifting when it comes to immunity, and that is supporting your intestines. A significant amount of your immune system is commingled with your intestines. It's called gut-associated lymphoid tissue, and it is an absolutely enormous immune organ. Your gut-associated lymphoid tissue represents nearly 70% of your total immune system. So most of that is sitting right here. How well do you treat your gut, right? How well are you treating your intestines? Are you eating the right food? Are you managing your stress? Are you getting exercise and pumping those lymphatics? All of those things are so powerful to support your gut-associated lymphoid tissue. In fact, that 80% of our immunoglobulin cells, like IgA, reside in the gut. It's a huge immune organ, right? Well, one of the things that I want you to know is that beta glucans, regardless of their source, play a role in your gut-associated lymphoid tissue. There's another corollary immune organ called malt, right? And this is all about creating healthy lymphatics, healthy blood flow, healthy immune transport. And beta glucans are one of the ways that we amplify or activate the immune system in a very healthy and balanced way. Beta glucans are polysaccharides. That's just a fancy name for sugars, the same sugars that are found in the cell walls of plants, yeast, and even some bacteria. Yep. Some bacteria are very, very good for you. We call them the good guys, right? The good gut bugs. And we want them on our side. And making sure that they are well fed is one of the best ways that you can not only make sure that you have plenty of good guys, but that you have a very healthy immune system. Because the combination of these polysaccharides with gut microbiota are what create a healthy thatchwork or a good gut permeability, where you're able to keep the bad stuff out and allow the good stuff in. So yay for beta glucans for optimal immune support. But you can see here, there's varied sources. Right now, what you're looking at are buds of yeast that are specifically grown for their beta glucan. They're fermented for their beta glucan content. Aloe plant. The aloe plant is incredibly robust and rich, not just in nutrients, but in beta glucan polysaccharide sugars. And in reishi mushrooms. Now, most mushrooms, well, all mushrooms have beta glucans, but reishi mushrooms are very specific because they have what are called a 1,3 branched beta glucan. And it is in fact the 1,3, the 1,4, and the 1,6 branches of beta glucans that are wildly beneficial in endocrine function, in fitness and metabolism, and immune support. So polysaccharide, as I said, literally means many sugars. And people will say, what do you mean sugars? I don't need sugar in my supplements, right? So I want you to think of this sugar in particular as being the conductor in an orchestra or at the symphony, right? That it is this polysaccharide and its branches that are dictating what all of the other moving parts are doing. These polysaccharides, these sugars are energy sources for gut biota. These sugars are polysaccharides because of the way they are branched, are energy sources that allow us to support mineral absorption, vitamin and mineral absorption, allow what are called glycoproteins. So they'll latch onto proteins, creating a glycoprotein that is important for energy production over here, right? So they are literally conducting, right, much of your body's metabolism, much of your body's energy storage and energy harvesting, right? So we save and we spend, we save and we spend, and that is dictated by cell signatures or cell signaling. And beta glucans play a big role in doing this. Now, what's unique about beta glucans, because people get concerned about the fact that they are sugars, is their shape. What you should know is, unlike what are called alpha sugars or alpha glucans, anytime you see that CAN at the end of a word, you know that you're talking about a polysaccharide or a sugar. But it is in fact that beta shape. It is that branch that makes this a non-digestible sugar. So it is functional, but it is not digestible, which means we don't have to worry about blood sugars or concerns that many people have with sugars, including feeding cells that we don't want to feed with sugar, right? They literally will pass these beta glucans, pass through the gut and assist in barrier function and nutrient usage, but they themselves are not brought into the body for energy. They are the energy for those things that are fueling your immune system, fueling your energy pathways, fueling your metabolism. They are the substrate that your immune system is using to support its energy efficiency or its energy demands. And that's the point, is that if your first line to immune defense is the gut, you want to make sure you have enough battery, enough juice, enough beta glucans to make sure that your white blood cells can do what they're supposed to do. And in fact, beta glucans have an affinity for a white blood cell called a macrophage. Macrophages are engulfing white blood cells. They engulf foreign invaders, and they have receptors on their surface specific to beta glucans. And beta glucans activate the macrophage. They activate and swallow the beta glucan. And then because of their receptivity, because of their affinity for one another, beta glucans create a burst of neutrophils, which is a completely different white blood cell. And this burst of neutrophils can yield a better immune response. What's so amazing about it is that it is a balanced immune response. Because macrophages literally eat the beta glucans, they degrade them into smaller and smaller pieces, which the body uses for energy. Again, not your energy, the things that are feeding you, the things that need this energy efficiency, they're eating those. And then there's a link to the neutrophil, a different white blood cell, and it causes a burst. Now, the thing that I want you to know that's so unique about that is antioxidants cause a similar burst. And so we know that whether we're talking about vitamin C, we get an immune burst because the antioxidants get white blood cells to act on our behalf. Well, beta glucans do something very similar. But now what we have is neutrophils, because of these broken down polysaccharides, they're able to fuel the neutrophils. And now neutrophils can move more quickly throughout the body and kill foreign challengers. I had shared with you, much like antioxidants that can create a neutrophil burst, that beta glucans, like antioxidants, different shapes do different things. Water soluble and fat soluble. Now, in this case, we're not talking about water soluble and fat soluble, but we are talking about different benefits of beta glucans. Some beta glucans, like those that are yeast beta glucans, are not just good for immune support, but also for physical performance. There are beta glucans, like those that are found in the aloe plant, that are good for blood sugar support and cardiovascular well-being. There are antioxidants, again, like those found and beta glucans found in the aloe plant or in mushrooms, that are very beneficial when it comes to skin health, when it comes to protection of free radicals from the world about us or environmental stressors. So I want you to think about varied sources of beta glucans, not just one source of beta glucans, but they all work through the gut to improve immune function, barrier function, energy sources for good bacteria, and support an environment that is low in inflammation, right? That is the benefit of the complexity and diversity of beta glucans and their unique branching. We're going to focus on the 1,3 beta glucans because those are the ones that have the biggest immune support, not just energy support. Depending on those branches, they may just be good as an energy or a fuel source. We want to focus on the ones that are both a fuel source and something that can support healthy immune function. So we want the 1,3 beta glucans. That is reishi mushroom, that is yeast buds, and that are grown specifically for this point, or fermented specifically for their immune potential, meaning that they're low allergenic. And then the aloe plant, which is both antioxidant and rich polysaccharides of 1,3 beta glucans. What I want you to know is whether you are looking at isotonic immune, you are looking at ultimate aloe, or you are looking at immune plus with echinacea and with reishi mushrooms, you are looking at products that have clinical studies behind their ingredients. You are looking at things like Wellmune, active aloe, right? You are looking at some of the best ingredients found in the natural marketplace, and that is a fantastic place to be. I want to talk to you about one of our newest products, and this is called Immune Plus. This is a mixture of stress adaptogens, so botanicals that help us, something specifically called erythrococcus that helps us with stamina and endurance, especially since stress in our high demand lives can really deplete our immune systems. A very specialized plant, one of the prettiest plants, in my opinion. I have this growing in my front yard simply because it's beautiful. And this wildflower has huge immune benefits. It's been used for centuries for immune support. It's called Echinacea purpura. It contains what are called arabinogalactans. These are actually just proteins. There's a ton of these types of plants that are out there that like larch is another one. Echinacea is one of them. But it is, in fact, these galactans that are immune potentiating, much like those glucans that we talked about in the reishi mushroom and in the aloe plant. They're natural, and they have a natural immune component to them. They boost the body's natural immune response, especially during concerns of your first symptom. Like, people know when they feel like they're coming down with something, and that's when I want you to think about using Immune Plus. Specifically, it's going to promote those same macrophages. And the reishi mushroom that is in this product will feed those macrophages, while echinacea will create an environment for healthy macrophage and neutrophil activity. Specifically, echinacea, much like beta glucans and the reishi mushroom or aloe plants, work at the gut mucosal level and then support immunity from there. Because remember, this is where the gut is. In addition to that, we built this product by choosing ingredients in addition to the reishi mushroom that would support physical energy and endurance, so that you would feel like you had what you needed to get through the day. Specifically, echinacea in the literature is an immune support botanical. Overall well-being, because physical and mental well-being have been attributed to this plant. One of the words I love, fortitude, right? When you really need to power through, you need what it takes to get through. That's one of the benefits in the literature to echinacea. I recommend that you take it at the first sign of complaint. It's essential for on the go, right? If you are a traveler, if you're someone that from an occupational standpoint, maybe you're concerned about being exposed to sick individuals, maybe you're a healthcare provider, pairs exceptionally well with adaptogenic herbs. And that's why we put immune boosting and adaptogenic or stress related herbs together in this product. We also talk about the traditional use of reishi mushrooms, right? So it's not just the traditional use of echinacea, but we put in beta glucans from the reishi mushroom into this product. It's all about creating a holistic approach to your immune response. And it is, in fact, these polysaccharides, these beta glucans that support that macrophage, those white blood activity, because they will literally eat the reishi mushroom, the beta glucans that are a part of this plant, right? Because they're so complex, they give us that same kind of fortitude or endurance that the echinacea does. But the two of them together are quite powerful. In fact, in Chinese medicine, reishi mushrooms are often touted to be a longevity mushroom, right? Give us that into Centurion ages. Many Centurions will say that it has a lot to do with their Chinese botanicals, including reishi mushrooms. We built this product to support the innate immune response, right? Your body's own natural immune response. But we wanted to make sure that we focused on energy as well. So there's zinc in this product, vitamin C in this product, reishi mushrooms, an adaptogen called erythrococcus. All of these things paired together give you an incredible immune support. It's this synergistic formula of echinacea and reishi that are really doing the heavy lifting. They said this is a shopping annuity product. This is called Immune Plus, Premium Immune Plus, because of the ingredients. Improve your general immune health, maintain overall physical health, protects against harmful issues associated with stress because of these beta glucans, because of the echinacea. Remember, fortitude, and of course the erythrococcus that's in this plant, which is a stress adaptogen. So all of those together create a healthy energy level and mental clarity for individuals, especially if they are on the go and they need additional immune support. And then there are what are called yeast beta glucans, and we have a clinically evidenced ingredient called Wellmune. What's unique about Wellmune is the clinical studies are on endurance. What they were able to show in many clinical studies, over 60 clinical studies on Wellmune, is that there were huge benefits in both children because of their running around all the time, rubbing their noses, right, touching each other, that kind of thing, and sharing their germs. There were huge benefits to the yeast beta glucan in studies with children and energy levels. And before you freak out, because I just told you that it supports energy levels, what we're talking about there is individuals that are putting their body through a lot of physical demand. And this is why they did a lot of studies on immune function in athletes with Wellmune. And they found people that put themselves through the paces, people that are really pushing their bodies a lot. So whether you are pushing your body as a child because you're growing and developing, or you're pushing your body as an adult because there's a lot to get done, I want you to think of the yeast beta-glucans that are found underneath the clinically evidence named Wellmune. They specifically did studies on physical stamina, physical endurance, and reduction of immune complaints or recovery after an immune complaint related to immune. And they were able to shorten immune windows, meaning the severity and how long a cold went on, by 4 days when individuals used Wellmune. And those that were marathoners or were putting themselves through the paces physically had less frequency or severity of cold and flu symptoms as it related to pushing their body physically and not giving their body time to recover. So what you need to know about Wellmune is that it is a proprietary strain of yeast, and it is a non-allergenic yeast. So individuals that are concerned about yeast overgrowth, that is not what we're talking about. People that are allergic to yeast can speak to their healthcare provider if they feel like this is a concern for them. But this is a non-allergenic yeast. It is a rich source of these polysaccharides, these yeast beta-glucans, that are act as a complement to neutrophil or white blood cell activity. In particular, the studies on Wellmune really do talk about recovery, especially if you've put your body through the paces physically. Now, we have it in 2 different formulas, one for children and one for adults, Isotonic Immune and the DNA Miracles Immune product. The DNA Miracle Immune product has the addition of bromelain, and that addition of bromelain is because bromelain is a natural mucolytic. It breaks down mucus, and their small bodies have a hard time ejecting mucus. If that sounds like you may want to look at bromelain in the isotonic line for your own immune support, much like what we did with the Wellmune for children. The focus, much like many of the products through Market America and nutraMetrix, we focused on bioavailability because we understand that delivery matters. And that's why that product is isotonic. And then there is the major powerhouse of gut health, of beta-glucan support, antioxidant support, and nutrient density. And that is your ultimate aloe. A healthy gut means a healthy immune system, but you're getting it all in this product, right? Because you're going to get a bunch of nutrients, because aloe is naturally nutrient dense. You're going to get antioxidants because the aloe leaf is naturally rich in antioxidants. And you're going to get these powerful 1,3 beta-glucans. Again, just like the beta-glucans that we talked about in the beginning, they're non-digestible by human enzymes. And so they're functional beta-glucans, they're functional sugars, right? People often say, well, I heard that cereal beta-glucans are probably the best way to get beta-glucans. And I have to disagree with that, partially because of the branching in cereal beta-glucans. Don't get me wrong, cereal, oats, barley, very rich in beta-glucans, right? But we want to think about digestibility, and many foods have a digestibility score. And it is, in fact, that digestibility score, how high it is, that allows us to appreciate whether or not you're going to absorb it. This is the argument with proteins, right? Is that our amino acids, we need to have a varied amount of amino acids, and they need to have a good digestibility score so that we actually get access to those amino acids. Well, the same is true for beta-glucans. You want to make sure that they have a high digestibility score so that you get access to the power of those beta-glucans. And that is the power of the ultimate aloe, because it is focused on that, having a higher digestibility score. Naturally, this plant has a higher digestibility score than cereal beta-glucans. In addition to that, the ultimate aloe is temperature controlled in its processing. So like many products, we're paying attention to how nature treats them and how it is best to hold on to their activity and their concentration. So sometimes that is cold pressed oils, and sometimes it is hand picked and hand compressed, right? Mechanically pressed aloe leaves. And that's exactly what happens here. There are no solvents or chemicals or additives added to the extraction of the beta glucans, vitamins and minerals and antioxidants in this plant. It meets our purity of standards. It is rich in what are called 1,3 beta glucans, just like the isotonic immune and just like premium immune plus. We are going to focus on 1,3 beta glucans because they do the heavy lifting when it comes to immune function and endurance. Ultimate Aloe, just like we use that trademarked Wellmune ingredient, Ultimate Aloe uses active aloe, which contains a concentrated amount of these bioactive polysaccharides, or these beta glucans. And it is in fact that the fact that they are dehydrated, and the plant is dehydrated, not macerated. It is dehydrated and then reconstituted, which gives it a higher concentration, a higher what is called a MAPS rating, MAP rating, which is a rating, not just it's not the digestibility score, it is its polysaccharide weight or its polysaccharide score, keeping those polysaccharides whole and branched, which is what allows them to do what they're supposed to do in the body. In addition to that, the aloe plant is so rich in vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. And this is one of the reasons why aloe is considered a powerhouse for the gut, because not only do those white blood macrophages wrap around the beta glucans and eat them for energy, and then that burst of neutrophils that I described, but antioxidants, remember, also create that neutrophil burst so that we have healthy and very available and very mobile white blood cells that can protect us when they need to, right? The point here is that just like any product, you need to know your ingredient. You need to know your aloe. This is a fresh whole leaf aloe, right? When you just take aloe off the stalk, right, you're going to have that yellow rind, that yellow, not yet mucilaginous, but almost fibrous component of the leaf. That's called aloin, and it's purgative. And that is the reason why sometimes if you don't know your aloe, you may end up with gastrointestinal distress because they didn't have the aloin removed. Remember, this is something that there's a high concentration of polysaccharides, rich and concentrated antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. But we've also had the active aloe people have also taken out and extracted the aloin, which would give otherwise digestive complaints. And it's the reason why when people look up aloe sometimes, they feel like they're not supposed to take it, because the aloe plant itself, or why they are told not to ingest it, because the aloe plant itself, just taken from the stalk, has aloin in it, but active aloe does not have aloe, or the aloin. One of the reasons it is able to carry this purity seal, right, from the International Aloe Science Council is because of the way it's handled, its polysaccharide MAPS weighting, its digestibility score, its dextrose units, meaning it's dextrin. So those polysaccharides are long chain. They're not broken down small chain. So this is not a simple polysaccharide. And so it is slow and controlled energy. Again, a non-digestible sugar. So it's energy for your white blood cells. It's energy for your body's metabolism, but you don't have to worry about sugars in you. It is standardized, and that is a powerful place to be. Again, much like knowing your farmer, knowing your source, it is so important to know your aloe, because this is hand-picked and then is actually gone, and actually in a 4 to 6 hour window of time, so they can maintain the concentration of all of these active ingredients, is processed under temperature controlled mechanical extraction, no solvents, none of those things that would otherwise hurt the concentration of the product. These standards are the reason why we get to carry this seal of approval. Ultimate Aloe has the IASC seal, And it is one of the only products in the marketplace that can carry that seal because of the way it is handled. At the end of the day, I want you to think of beta glucans as your three-pronged activity, right? Whether we are talking about all three of them, you need reishi mushrooms, yeast beta glucans, and the isotonic immune, and definitely ultimate aloe. I want you to know that all beta glucans, regardless, activate white blood cells and macrophages and neutrophils for better defense. Subdues non-specific immune responses like inflammation, so it creates a healthy inflammatory response in the body, right? Not a hyper response, and supports axillary immune activity, in particular as we think of a healthy gut biota, those healthy gut bugs, and allowing and giving them the energy that they need to support both gut and the malt. Now ask yourself this question: is there a difference between illness, health, and fitness? I maintain that too many people think health is just the absence of illness. And I want you to start thinking of your health in a very different way. I want you to think about being metabolically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit, and physically fit. Because when you are fit, you are resistant to illness. You are not just absent of illness, you are resistant to illness. And that's why I want you to pay attention to exercise, eating a diet rich in color with plenty of vegetables. Do not smoke. Do not drink. If you do drink, do it in moderation. Make sure that you get a good night's sleep. Find ways to cope with your stress and have a positive outlook on life. It's not always about being the smartest. Sometimes it's just about being consistent. And I think you should add beta glucans to your daily regimen. My name is Dr. D. Thank you so much for spending the afternoon with me. Every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, I go live and talk about a health-related topic. I hope to see you here next week.